Okay, this is my second map that I'm going to walk through the creation of. This is more of a I guess a captivating environmental, like this is kind of pretty map, but it's essentially themed around Alice in the Wonderland. So it's essentially a huge, and I'll show the player view of this, not only like in the editor because you can't see like how big the scale of this is, but essentially you are a small little person inside this 1v1 map, and this is a two-player multiplayer FPS map. And essentially you're going to spawn right down here, falling down here, and it's based around fighting around the center area with a lot of it's a circular map, so the flow is very nice with it. There's no dead ends, there's no real place to hide because it is a circular map. Um, yeah, so if you look here, we have in the middle, we have the T, and once I get into the editor, I'll show how that was created to avoid players getting kind of trapped inside of here. A big problem that I faced when I was kind of laying this map out. I had the idea that I wanted teacups in here, but it took me a bit like to under or to figure out what to do with the teacups because initially there was no like liquid inside of there. So I could, and without that, the player can just kind of fall inside and hide inside these teacups, and I felt like the flow would be disrupted if in a fast-paced 1v1 map you can just kind of hide inside of a teacup. So, and then I also thought about maybe what if I just added water that you can swim through. But then again, swimming, even though it is in Fortnite, it's still a very not flowy, right? Like running around the map and then jumping in to swim for like half a second. The flow isn't really nice, so I'll show what I did instead of swimming. But yeah, so this is the whole entire map. Let's hop into the Fortnite so then I can better show off the mechanics of this map. Okay, this is what it looks like in the Fortnite uh, creative editor, I think is what this is called. So essentially, you're gonna be a player, you drop down like somewhere like here, and there are borders here or barriers here that don't allow the player to go through. And just for perspective, this is the whole map. There's your chandelier on top. I focused a lot on like environment for this one. So yeah, so the teacups are massive compared to the player, but of course Fortnite added the mantle. And instead of swimming, I've added essentially what it is it's a non it's is it- it's like it's Fortnite's water plane, but there's no collision on it, and underneath it is just a whole bunch of air vents, which gives it that bouncy feel. So instead of sinking in and swimming for like half a second, you can easily just run up, bounce, and then continue to run, essentially, is what it's going for. So then, of course, you have fighting around the middle, just like my first map. You kind of have natural cover coming from the plate. And let's say you don't want that natural cover coming from the plate, you have good views from the teacups when you walk around, good views from the plate. You can also use the plate as sort of a natural cover, right? Forks also can be used as natural cover. You can fight around these pots, but it's aside from the huge thing in the middle, it's very open and kind of not obstructed by anything. So the field of view or line of sight is very nice for a good fast-paced 1v1 map. All right, cool. Now, just like the other map, I'll just explain it from a bird's eye view. So essentially, this is the map. There are realistically, there's not a lot of levels. I don't really count, and I didn't want to count the teapot as a level because in Fortnite you can't really aim when you're bouncing around. So I guess we'll label it as a level 3. This one I think could be level 2, 1, and then 0 base level. Forks are around level like 1.5, I'd say. But essentially, I didn't want another map where you're fighting for height control. And this height control right here is nice, but um, as you can see, the cup is kind of slanted, so the field of view is really bad up here. So that's not something that players would want to fight for. if they wanted the upper edge. But yeah, so essentially the centerpiece is what people players are trying to fight for, the two level. I like adding verticality in the three level, but not making it really a feasible play or like a place players would want to go for high ground advantage. It just looks nice, and it's like in addition, it's just like I don't know, it just looks cool in the map. It also provides that natural cover, like I said before, so players can hide here, like here. They can hide in all corners of the teapot. And let's talk about field of view. So field of view from the middle part, this is why we're fighting for the middle part, is field of view from the middle part is 360, right? You have kind of a perfect view for to every place except for the teapots, or not the teapots, the teacups. That's why I like the teacups being there, right? Because imagine you didn't have the teacups there, then you'd have one person taking advantage of the middle. Maybe they did a lot of damage to the other player. The other player is kind of running around in a circle trying to find cover. And without the teapots, it's the person in the middle that's going to win like 99% of the time. So you need the cover for people who can't get to the middle to kind of recompose and then try to rush the middle again. And then we talk about line of sight if you're not in the middle. So let's say both players aren't in the middle and both players are on either side of the area. We have perfect line of sight from here to here, right? These the plates, like I showed before, they're not at the height of the player, so the player can either get on top of the plate or honestly, the player can probably go here and then get a good, nice view over the plate without being fully exposed. So that's a good example of cover as well. But yeah, this is a super open, I'm just drawing like field of views. So super open area, right? You have, it's really flowy, so many field of views, so many different angles to shoot from, and so many different positions to play. And I like this map because of how like big it is, but small it is, if that makes sense. So it's big in the sense that there's so many like good places to be. So there's a lot of variety, but at the same time, it's small enough for the rounds not to last a long time because it is one player versus one player. So yeah, field of views aren't really obstructed, so it's not cluttered. Even though this cup right here, or even though all the teacups are so close to the plate, you still have a field of view from the plate outwards. And if the player is, let's say, standing pretty close to the edge of the plate, like right here, you'll have a field of view from outside into the plate as well. So line of vision from this map is very extensive. I think that's all. Yeah.